Hello and welcome to this October 5th edition of Bears Talk presented by J. Brown Realtor. We are joined alongside head football coach Mike Jacobs to kick off the show once again. Coach, thank you so much for joining us this week.
No doubt, Andy.
A great start indeed. Feels like every week we come on here and we say, how does it feel to be at this record, now at a 5-0 mark? How is this team that has given your program such a dominant start here to start off 2023?
Yeah, again, really happy for the kids because they're practicing at a high level. They're taking the opportunities available to them on Saturdays to play well, and they're getting to enjoy it. And they're cohesive. They've started fast in each of the games, and we've seen that carry over into big wins for us.
We talk about the running game almost every week on the show, but the best individual performance of the season by Dwayne McGee, finishing at 201 rushing yards on the week against UVA Wise. How has the SAC Offensive Player of the Week improved every single week for your team?
Yeah, I mean, we've seen Dwayne do it time and time again. He's got the ability to make the first person miss, and then he's got the speed to finish off runs. And his first long touchdown run in this game last weekend, he beat a defensive tackle right in the hole and then accelerated, and we've done a nice job on the perimeter blocking. And I mean, he's a home run hitter. He brings that ability, but he had the two big long runs, but there's a bunch of other chunk plays in there where he was running extremely hard. And again, just the confidence that we have in him when he's on is great.
Looking at Jalen Ferguson, made his first career home start here at Moret Stadium, went 13 of 18 passing for 3 touchdowns to 3 different receivers. Now the Bears fans have gotten to see him. You've seen him now with 2 performances. How confident are you with your signal caller going into October?
Yeah, I mean, Jalen has come in, worked really hard, and put himself in position to earn the starting job. And he's done that through his play and practice. And then the things that we were seeing in practice have carried over into the games. He's made good decisions with the football. He's protected the football. He's gotten it out quick. And he's used his feet when needed to. And I think at this point, he's done a really nice job, and folks are getting an opportunity to see what we've seen a lot of over the course of the last 8-9 months between spring football, summer camp, and now this season.
Another one-sided victory for your team here at Moret Stadium. 163 points at home, and only giving up 10 points to your opposition. So 153-point margin. Your team has been playing great. The fans also bring the energy as well. How great is this place for your program, and how difficult does it make for opponents to come in here and really test your team?
Sure. I mean, being between the bricks, there's nothing like it. I truly believe this is one of the most unique, if not the most unique, game day atmospheres in the country. Our fans are incredibly vested and bought in, and they bring the energy each and every week. And we're blessed to have tremendous facilities, and our kids want to come out and play really well at home in front of their friends, their family, their peers, and to get a chance to come away with a victory each Saturday between the bricks is great.
And when looking at those fans, they've also been able to get to see your second and third string players as well. As a coach, you look in these matchups and you say, all right, we're starting to pull ahead a bit. Let's get these reserves in the game as well. How great has your team's response been to your communication that when they do hit that field, it's still go time and still making an impact for them?
Sure. I think you've seen that, for second string guys, they're one play away, and they have to prepare that way all the time because they're one play away from being the guy. And we've seen that happen time and time again over the course of college football years. And, so they're always tuned in. A couple of the down the road guys, in that sense, I think the new redshirt rule, which allows kids to play in 3 games and still maintain their redshirt, has been a tremendous advantage to keep kids engaged, to keep them striving to be better, to practice harder each week. So I think that's helped our depth on special teams, being able to spot guys in there, and then get kids active live game reps. That's the best learning curve, right? It's like you got to do driver's hours before you get your driver's license. There's no better place to learn. You can watch all the videos you want, but actually doing it's the key. And to get those guys those reps will, in the long run, benefit our program tremendously.
Looking at the defense, every week we come on and talk about how great they are, but there's really some solid numbers that prove how great this unit has been. They're the best in the nation for red zone defense, the second best in the nation for total and scoring defense. we've said all the words pretty much to describe this team, but if you can translate some more for what this defensive unit has been for your squad this year, what would you say about them?
Yeah, I mean, just it's almost mind-numbing consistency. I mean, that team last week ran the ball, attempted to run the ball 37 times for 26 yards or 28 yards, something like that. And, people are banking on you being out of a gap or not making a tackle. And just time and time again, we're doing the little things at a really high level. And then I think that you look at it, we've played 5 football games, and I think we've only given up 3 touchdowns. And so that's a key to victory each week, and our defense has done a tremendous job. Now, the opponents and the strength of schedule gets exponentially better here in the month of October, and so we'll see where we're at with that. But as long as we're 1 point better, we'll be in the best shape.
So let's take a look at that Limestone matchup. 5-0 start for y'all, 3-0 conference record. That's a team that Limestone has as well. But this is a big road test. Not only is it going to be a very difficult road opposition, but it's also going to be your earliest start of the year as well, a 12 p.m. kickoff. How excited and prepared does your team feel for this big matchup against Limestone, as people are saying that this could be a real true benchmark for what your team for this year?
Yeah, I mean, people rightfully understand that Limestone's a really good football team. Those 2 early season losses on the road at a solid West Georgia team, where their quarterback went down midway through the 4th quarter. They obviously played without him in the 2nd week of the season, and Dustin Knowler's as good of a player as there is in this conference in terms of quarterbacks. And they have elite skill positions at the wide receiver. Their running back rushed for over 1,500 yards last year. I think he's as dangerous out of the backfield catching the ball as he is running it. And then they're improved defensively, and they play a number of defensive linemen. So our kids are going to be ready. They're going to be prepared. We're all 4 noon kickoffs, so whatever we need to do, we'll be ready to roll come 12 o'clock Saturday.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Coach, for joining us here on Bears Talk today.
No.
Just a reminder that you can check out the Lenoir-Rhyne football team as they will take on Limestone at noon from Gaffney, South Carolina on Flow Sports and WHKY. Welcome back to Bears Talk, brought to you by J. Brown Realtors. We are now joined alongside by Lenoir-Rhyne women's volleyball head coach, Nicole Barringer. Coach, thanks so much for joining us here today.
Yep, happy to be here.
Awesome. It is a 6-1 conference start for your team, tied for the top of the conference.
Yep.
When you joined us earlier this year, we talked about how you were going to have a retooled roster, but they played so well. What has this lineup done that has clicked so well out on the floor?
Yeah, I think I like that you call it retooled versus rebuilding, because when you lose, all of your starters but one, a lot of people who's like, oh, it's a rebuilding year, and it's not. We had some players already on the team that were just behind some older upperclassmen. We had some transfers that have a lot of experience that have come in. And so we're not rebuilding, we're just retooled, right? So we're not starting from the bottom, right? We've got a lot of good players that have either come in for us or that have just been training well in the last year or two in our practices. So I think what's been cool is that we are so new from a dynamic standpoint. Everyone had to, in the beginning, learn each other, how to get the most out of each other, how to push each other the right way. And they've just kind of grown in that, right? We've done some team bonding and some team building, but ultimately that's created on the court. And so I think that really starts in practice. And it's been like that from the get-go. Our first week of practice was super competitive, and we've continued that, and that's what's helped lead to our success. Our practice the day before our game yesterday was super competitive. Whether it was the starting side or the non-starting side, it was super competitive all the way through, and that's how you win ball games. So.
The one returner that you mentioned was Emily Allen.
Yeah.
Back-to-back sack players of the week on the offensive side on September 19th and 26th. We had her on the show earlier this year as well. We talked about how she stepped from a role of being the freshman, getting to know everyone else around her, and now has elevated to a leader. From the coaching standpoint, how well has Emily done that this year?
Yeah, she was good last year, but she's better this year from a leadership standpoint for sure, but also a composure standpoint, right? She plays very composed, whether she's making errors or not making errors, and she gets frustrated sometimes, right, if she's not doing well, but ultimately she does a good job of putting it behind her and moving on to the next play for herself, but also for her team, right? She knows how much we need her from a passing standpoint, defense, offense, like we need her. So she's able to kind of put mistakes behind her. And it's something we preach all the time. It's 2 seconds. Like you got to be able to put it behind you and not hang on to it. And she does that really, really well. And I think that's part of the leadership, but also part of the maturity that she's kind of coming into in her second year. So she's been great for us, and I know will continue to be.
One of the transfers that have come in are Kathy Peter, and she was just named SAC Defensive Player of the Week back on September 26. She also leads the South Atlantic Conference with 72 blocks on the season. What has she done well to help bolster your front row defense?
Yeah, honestly, it's her level of maturity, right? Like she's been playing this sport a long time now and has a lot of experience, which I think helps, but also her intensity and her want to do really well for her teammates is huge. And we get that a lot in practice, not just from her, but I think that's something she's brought in that middle specifically, right? We lost 2 seniors in that role last year, and now we've got a junior in it and then Kathy. And that level of maturity and experience has been huge. And always talking to her blockers with her, but also like trying to make sure she gets her message across the right way is very important to her. So it's not just like what you say, it's how you say it, and that's really important to her. And so I think she's a little bit of a leader, even though she's not named one of our captains. Like she's a leader on our court in that way. And yeah, Kathy's just someone you want on your team for sure. I mean, I don't want to have to play against her. So.
Speaking about transfers, Asia McNeil, we didn't get to see her in 2022, and it's really unfortunate we did it. But so far in 2023, she's played quite well. As a coach, I know it must have really stunk for a bit not to get to put McNeil out on the court, but so far in this season, how much has she exceeded her expectations?
Yeah, I don't think you ever know as a coach like how a player's going to respond after an injury, right, when you're out for a whole season. And we had a really good conversation at the very beginning of the season about how, and it's something that I talk a lot about, it's like your perspective on things is kind of what your reality will be, right? Like what you perceive to be what it is what you will think it is, right? And she had a decent spring, but was always, I think, very worried of, am I going to be the same hitter that I was? Am I going to be the same player that I was? And I think over the summer she worked a lot in the gym, both on the court and in the weight room, and kind of put that behind her of like, I know who I am and I know what kind of player I can be. I'm just going out there and do it, right? And that's what she did. And she was almost able to, the skill, the defense, the offense was there. Now she got to become a leader and a role model for our other players. And that was one of the first things that happened in the beginning was all of our young kids were like, Asia's, a mentor. She works hard. And I think that's one of the things she came in the office and said, is she was like, I had to remind myself, like, I'm a good player. Like, yes, I've got to overcome this energy, but like, I'm a good player. My skill set will shine. I've got to put all that behind me and focus on my team. And that's been, not that I didn't know she could do that, but that's been the biggest surprise out of her, is that she's been able to come out and just say, like, I'm going to do what my team needs and your skill set will follow.
One player who's really stepped up well this year has been Sydney Cardula, and even though you ran a 6'2" at first with your team, she has now become the primary setter all the way around, and she's been playing great. Folks that tuned into the match on Newberry saw how she was able to lead the team with digs and assist as well. What has she done that has really just helped your team overall, and how has that transition been for Sydney from becoming, just the back row setter to playing all the way around?
Yeah, I mean, she's taken on the role exceptionally well, and unless you look at our roster online, I don't think you would know she's a freshman. So she's taken on that role as a freshman really well, and I think she just keeps you in plays a lot longer than we have in the past, right? Like, she's going to get the dig, or she's going to get the second ball you think is going to drop, right? And I think she's like, that's her spark plug. Like, that's what she is for us, is she keeps us in just plays, like really long plays. Like, she keeps us into it, whether it's a dig or just getting a second ball up in front of a hitter for us to make an attack on. And I saw her stat line last night of 48 assists and 30 digs. You don't find that in a setter. As a previous setter myself, I don't think I started playing defense like my junior year of college. Like, I was just like, no, I'm a setter. Like, I don't play defense. So for a setter to come out her freshman year, and I think she's top 5 maybe for digs or digs per set, if I remember. So yeah, she's been great. Our team really gets behind her because she's not the biggest blocker on the front row, and I think a lot of teams try to take advantage of that. But like, she can get up and she'll win some jousts, and I think that really fires our team up because she is one of the smallest players on our court outside of our libero. So she's a huge spark plug for us. Always has a great attitude and is the biggest hustle player we have, and you can't teach that. So
Your team leads the South Atlantic Conference in maybe the three most key ingredients: digs, assists, and kills. I mean, that's pretty much the core of what you want to do to be successful in the sport. And you guys have played really well in the first half of the conference play. Going forward now into that second half, how confident do you feel like this team will continue some of the momentum that they've had in their first few games?
Yeah, I think one of the other like all those stats are great, right? One of the things we also pay attention a lot to is like how many points per set are we scoring, right? How many points per set are we earning on our side versus the teams we're playing? And we're still top 1 or 2, maybe 3 of that, which is good. So we focus a lot on like we've got to go earn our points. You can't expect a team to give you a match, especially teams come in and want to play their best game against us, right? And so focusing on that category as well has been huge for us. But yeah, I think we do a good job of just going into every match 0-0, right? Like, it doesn't matter what you did the day before, whether it was a good practice or a bad practice. Doesn't matter if you lost a match, the last match you played or not. You go into a match fresh. Your record doesn't matter whether you've won or lost. So I think having that mindset going into each game will be huge for us, and I think will take us pretty far into the season. So I'm excited for this team. I believe in them. I know they are fired up about the rest of the season, so I'm excited to see what we can do.
And 7 more home games to go. Good crowd last night as well here at Schuford Arena. I mean, this is a team that has really exceeded expectations. And what do you want to really tell the LR fans and the Hickory community to come out? Because there's some really big games down the stretch as you guys try to get that top spot in the conference.
Yeah, I think a lot of people don't realize how exciting volleyball can be. And we've had some people in the community come out and watch, and even in our LR community and Hickory community, come out and watch the matches. And it's super exciting. And we've gotten like our kind of student section into some of the things we do as a team. And I think it's just so much fun to watch. So like it's an incredibly fun sport, high intense plays and full matches. So it's a lot of fun to watch. I hope they come out. Our next home game's next Tuesday at 6 p.m. versus Coker. So
awesome, Coach. Thank you so much for joining us here on Bears Talk today, and hope your team continues to have the success that it's had so far this year.
Awesome. Thank you.
Hello and welcome back to Bears Talk, presented by J. Brown Realtor. We are now joined alongside by the Senior Associate AD of External Operations and Justin Hay. Justin, thank you so much for joining us here on Bears Talk.
Thanks for having me, Andy.
Justin, let's start talking about Lenoir-Rhyne football. A 5-0 start for their season. They head down to Gaffney, South Carolina to take on the Limestone State. So why should the Bears fans travel down to Gaffney to support the Bears this upcoming Saturday?
I don't think you need any other reason other than the fact that you got 2 undefeated teams in the SAC. Our Bears are making the short hour and 15-minute drive down to Gaffney, and it's going to be a great day of football. It's starting at noon, but I think back to that NCAA semifinal game with the lacrosse team down there, and how there was just a sea of red and black when our team took the field to go to the national championship there. And I just really have the aspirations of seeing that again Saturday when the Bears take the field.
Yeah, it'd be awesome to see the Bears can make it 6-0 this year. And then after that battle against the Saints, it's the biggest week of the year. Homecoming here at Lenoir-Rhyne. We've seen this. It's been the single largest fundraising event. Has broken many records in the past when it comes to fundraising amounts. Why is this week so special for Lenoir-Rhyne?
Well, we get to welcome alumni back. We had a great weekend last weekend with the Hall of Fame and Letterman Day, but homecoming's always been about welcoming people back to campus, getting people together, hearing stories, just building the camaraderie. And there's a ton of events on campus. We get to hang out and see people that maybe we aren't able to make it to every game. And so expecting a big crowd and expecting a lot of energy, but we also do a lot of fundraising for our student-athlete scholarships and our student-athlete experience. And so that's a big part of why we were able to have the success that we've had recently is because of the support of our alumni and our fans in the community.
One of the biggest events starts today on October 5th, the silent auction. Just describe what the silent auction does and why the community and LR alum and fans should get involved.
Yeah, absolutely. It's an auction that raises money for our scholarships, and we've got a lot of great experiences. We've got vacations built in. We've got a lot of custom LR things, paintings, woodwork. We've got a couple of things, a bear head that assistant volleyball coach Mark Wembley made out of the wood bleachers from Schuford Arena. A set of 12 coasters made out of the same wood. So a lot of things you can only get during the auction. And all this goes to support our student athlete scholarship. So not only can you buy some really cool things at a good deal, but you also can know that your money's going towards student athlete experience here at Lenoir-Rhyne.
Another massive event that has been very popular with homecoming over the years has been the Hanley Painter Memorial Golf Tournament. It's scheduled for Friday, October 13th at the Catawba Springs course at Lake Hickory Country Club. This has really been a staple for the Bears Club for decades now. What is going to be so special about the 2023 edition?
Well, there's going to be another sold-out field. And it's a day of laughter and stories and reminiscing, and obviously named after Coach Painter, and it is in memory of all of the fallen Bears over the years. So we'll hear, at the beginning, we'll hear from Vice President of Athletic Kim Pate, we'll hear from Bears Club Director Ingrid Smith, we'll hear from Head Football Coach Mike Jacobs, and then you'll get out on the course and spend 4 hours hitting it around. Some of them will hit it in the fairway, some will hit it in the trees, but at the end of the day, everybody's going to have a good time. And we're going to, again, raise money for our student athlete experience here at Lenoir-Rhyne. So it's one of those days where you get to take off a Friday for a great event. You know you're doing something awesome for Lenoir-Rhyne and helping us support our student athletes. And somebody's going to win and take home a really cool first place flag that I designed. So we'll see who gets to hoist that trophy.
With the golf tournament and the silent auction, there's also so many incredible events this year, including the inaugural homecoming kickoff party at the Blowing Rock Draft House, the homecoming parade as well, and you also get to see the tailgate event for the football game on Saturday. These are just a list of some of the incredible events. Why or what should the LR faithful really expect out of homecoming weekend 2023?
It's going to be bigger and better than ever. I mean, as always, that's our goal. And this year, yeah, we've combined with the Office of Alumni to throw an alumni kickoff party on Friday night. We won't have the gala that we normally have as an athletic department after the Hanley Painter. We've combined with the Office of Alumni for this event. I think as of right now, there's over 300 people registered to come out. We've rented the whole place out, so inside and outside, and it's just going to be a time that everybody can get together, maybe see some friends that were here during your time or their time that weren't athletes or one on their team. Looking forward to that. Continue the energy of the golf tournament into Saturday morning, the parade. Obviously, the parade's a favorite for everybody. Everybody loves a parade, loves candy, loves seeing the athletes. We'll see the LR Wrap Fire Truck there again, I'm sure, this year. And Joe Bear and the band. And then leading into the homecoming tailgate, which, as of this morning, again, I think there was 285 or 290 registered for that event. Outside of the tailgate, it's going to be happening on the Gold Lot. So I know there's a ton of people coming back, and just really excited to build that energy starting on Friday all the way up to game time at 2 p.m. And obviously, once we kick off, it's all about what's going on between the bricks.
Absolutely. Another special guest will be between the bricks as well. The 2013 LR football team, who had played in the national championship a decade ago, makes their return. How excited are you to see the group back in town in between the bricks?
Absolutely. Anytime we get a chance to honor a team that had that big of impact, and obviously national runner-ups, something that we still celebrate, and knowing people from that team and hearing their stories and getting to see them come back together and be honored on the field it's been 10 years. And talked to a lot of our Bears Club members who went to the game, who traveled to the game, and they just have such great memories of that year. And I think that getting them back on the field, letting them get the recognition that they deserve, obviously, will be great for us, also great for them. And, as we talk about paving the path, as we try to stand on their shoulders and continue to get back to that game and eventually win one.
Awesome. Justin, looking forward to all the homecoming festivities. Reminder, the silent auction begins today. As you watch this, make sure to check that out and keep in track with all the events that are happening around homecoming as well. Hopefully great weather, hopefully a great week, and looking forward to see so many alum, family, and community back in action here in Hickory. Justin, thank you so much for joining us here on Bears Talk.
Thank you.